stutter when I talk. So sometimes my words get stuck for a few extra seconds, and then sometimes they don't get stuck at all. I first started stuttering when I was in the third grade. So that's around age 8 and 9. And my parents put me into speech therapy pretty much right away. And I saw loads of different speech therapists from childhood to my mid to 20s. So just because someone gets speech therapy for stuttering, that doesn't mean that they'll stop stuttering. There's actually no cure for stuttering. So very likely I will keep stuttering for the rest of my life. But there are different strategies that we can use to better manage our stutter. So we're less likely to get stuck as frequently or as hard, but no strategy is guaranteed to always work. So sometimes we will still stutter. And since that's the case, a lot of speech therapy has kind of transitioned over the past 5 or 10 years from focusing on just giving these fluency shaping strategies to reduce your stutter, to more of a hey, let's recognize when we do stutter, how we feel, what's going on in our body, and let's try to make it a little more comfortable, so we're not struggling as hard when we are stuttering. We're not pushing as hard. There's not as much tension in our throat, in our face, that kind of spreads out throughout our body. So more of an acceptance approach that can really help with confidence in speaking. So we're less likely to allow stuttering to dictate how we communicate with others. So it doesn't take over our life, really, because it truly can. So if anyone has questions about stuttering, then please let me know in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can. So while your questions are coming in, I'll share a little bit about what causes stuttering, which is a little bit tricky because we don't truly know what causes it. but we do know that multiple factors are at play. So the most common ones are genetic and neurological. So between 60 and 70% of all stutterers have a family history of stuttering. So that may be a parent or grandparent or aunt or, or uncle. Now, I'm part of that 30 or 40% that has no family history of stuttering. But when I eventually start having children, they will be more likely to stutter because I'm myself stutter. And I mentioned a neurological component to stuttering too. So our brains are structured a little bit differently, which means that they function a little bit differently too. And that shows up in the way we process speech and language. So the timing and coordination of our movements for speech are just a little bit off. So that's some background as to why some people stutter. All right, let's look at some of y'all's questions. Is there any medication that could help you? No, there's no reliable, consistent medication that is known to be helpful for stuttering. Some people thought that anti-anxiety medication would be helpful. That's not really the case, and oftentimes there are a lot of side effects with those medications that kind of increase your anxiety on different things. So I used to take some for my stutter, and then I started gaining weight, and yeah, so maybe part of me wasn't as nervous or anxious about social interaction, but I became self-conscious about gaining weight, and so I didn't want to talk as much there. So there's no medication that is known to target stuttering. Researchers, some believe that targeting dopamine may be helpful, but that's just not out yet. So we don't really know. Were you born with the stutter? No. So it's actually less likely that we're born with a stutter, and more likely that we're just born more likely to develop one. So most people will start stuttering in childhood. Between 90 and 95% of all stuttering starts in childhood. Between ages 3 and 6 is pretty typical. For myself, I was 8 And so that's a little bit late, but not really too much, and just kind of a typical part of development. Um, so between 5 and 10% of all children will stutter at some point during childhood. Now, most of those kids will do what's called spontaneously recover, or kind of outgrow stuttering within a few months. And for those of us that keep stuttering, we pretty much will for life. I don't stutter. I'm sorry, I don't have a stutter during my normal life, but when I'm having a mental health issue, I seem to develop one. The severity of it depends on how bad I'm struggling at that moment. Gotcha. So things like stress, anxiety, exhaustion, um, feeling upset, change of routine, time pressure, feeling sick. They all tend to exacerbate stuttering. They're not causes, but we will usually stutter more when we're in those heightened emotions. So now I don't know your case. I'm just speculating. Perhaps you had as a child a minor stutter, or you may still have it. That's just not as recognizable, except for when you've got your heightened emotions, in which case most stutterers will stutter more in those moments. So if that's the case, that's still pretty typical. It does suck, but it's typical. Can you sing me happy birthday? It's my birthday today. I will not sing it, but I will tell you happy birthday. That's unfortunate, man. I kind of thought that about the anxiety meds too. I take them personally, but you are happy to don't. But are you happy to don't feel fulfilled in life? You seem like a really nice guy. Thank you. Yeah, I've kind of been struggling a little bit lately with my own happiness. I think I've been caught up into too much routine lately, and am going to pursue different ways to break that. So 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 things don't feel as monotonous, and I can add a little more curiosity and excitement. But yeah, there's that. How old were you when you developed the stutter? So I was in third grade, so that's age 8 and 9, and there's no apparent trigger for it. just you will sometimes start stuttering as a child, and 80% of kids will stop stuttering regardless of getting speech therapy or not. They'll stop stuttering, just kind of as their body and brains continue to develop. And for the 20% of us where the stutter persists, it'll stay into adulthood like it has for me. There's a device that causes a delay in the person's hearing themselves, thereby correcting the stuttering. Kind of. So that's the Speech Easy device, and yes, it works in a sense like a hearing aid thing that you put in, and then whatever you hear will be delayed when you hear it back. So it disrupts your typical auditory feedback loop, and for many stutterers, not all, but for many, this will result in reduced or no stuttering. However, this will not last, or it's proven to not last. Sometimes within a couple months, sometimes within a year or two, your brain starts to pick up on this new pattern, and then it just stops working. Stops working as much until it stops working at all. Likewise, it doesn't just delay your own voice or the sound of your own voice, but it delays every single sound that you hear. So you're always hearing things with a delay, which can become a bit irritating, confusing, and this device costs multiple thousands of dollars. So for a Speech Easy that sometimes does not work at all for the stutterer, but may work for a few months until your brain starts to pick up on this new pattern, and then you're right back to where you were before you had it, but several $1,000s out of your pocket, and probably more anxiety around speaking because you've been dependent on this device. Doesn't seem like a great investment for me. That's not to discredit or discount the people that do seek it out. I thought about it for real a few years ago, but too many negatives there to me. Feels like it could be parent related in a lot of cases. Learning it from parents and stuff, maybe that's a guess. So that's a fair guess, but that's not how stuttering works. You don't pick it up by being exposed to it more, either from parents who stutter or friends who stutter, and hanging out with them more. Stuttering is neurological. So there are differences in our brains and how they're structured and how they're functioned. So it's not from kind of picking it up from exposure, but I can see how one might think that though. Mel Tillis would stutter and speech, but due to the delay and the auditory feedback of the stage amp, he could sing perfectly fine. Yes, so there may be something to that as well, but most stutterers can sing without stuttering, and we don't need an amp to do that. It's just that singing versus talking use slightly different areas of the brain, and when we sing, we do so with a rhythm or a beat, which tends to help us get our words out a little bit easier. And when we talk, we have more pauses and breaks in our speech than when we sing. And those pauses lend themselves to more stuttering. So that's why most stutterers can sing without stuttering. Well, here I'm in love with your sweater. Thank you. Is there any advice you could give me? Well, advice about what? I don't see a follow-up there. So you let me know what you want your advice on, and I will try my best. I experience stuttering and heightened moments too, and some less heightened. Yeah, that's really typical. It's not a guarantee that in those heightened emotional states we will stutter more, but it will usually happen. Personally, I love talking with people with stutters. I like seeing them happy when they realize I'm not going to make fun of them for their stutters. Well, that is a big relief. Yeah, it's surprising, but a few, like a fair number of people, when I meet them and start talking and start stuttering, they laugh at me for my stutter. Some people think I'm pranking them. Some people think I do this to make fun of people. No, this is just how some people talk, and I recognize you weren't expecting to meet someone that talks this way, but I'm always shocked that the initial reaction for so many people is kind of mean when it should just be patience. Do you ever get moments where you don't have stuttering? Yeah. Well, so for a few sentences at a time, I may not stutter. Now, I usually stutter on every few words, on most of my sentences, but there's sometimes I may have more momentum with my voice, more flow, and and um, and it may be a calmer interaction, and I may not be stuttering as much. So it can happen, but yeah, stuttering is pretty part of my life at this point. Uh, love you, man. Stay up. Thank you. Uh, hey there. Not trying to be rude, but does this affect your job, or is YouTube your full-time job? No, that's a really fair question. So I do work as a speech therapist. So that's what I do. Now I'm doing that part time. I do have other projects that I work on. This social media is one of them. I also consult tech companies to help them improve how their AI better recognizes, understands, and predicts speech differences and disorders. So, like stuttering. So that's been a newer project, but a really fascinating one. And Tuesday, I'm flying out to an AI conference to speak on this topic. So pretty exciting there. Could speech therapy help at this point for you? To be honest, I've had a very, very difficult year. Lost my aunt and my father. Also, so issues with work, but life could be worse for us all. You seem very put together. Thank you. Boy, sorry that it's been such a tough year. Wow. Yeah, well, so speech therapy can always help. There's always something to learn. Now, I am a speech therapist. I do have strategies. I teach them. I use them myself, but not when I record, because my goal is to spread awareness about stuttering. So showing people what it looks like, what it sounds like, and helping to normalize it. So future stutterers may not have to feel as self-conscious about how they talk, because other people recognize what's going on, how they could help. They can watch my videos and see that, oh well, he stutters, but he can still go out and live his life. So that's why I don't use strategies when I record. Um, but yeah, there are strategies that can better manage your stutter, so you're less likely to stutter as hard, as frequently, but you will still stutter. There's no guarantee. There's no strategy that will always work. So working on acceptance and open stuttering, is pretty helpful too. Uh, are you married? No, but I'm engaged to be married. So the wedding is set for June. Hi. When meeting a person who stutters, what is the best way to communicate acceptance of them? Just as they are. Oh, sorry. Acceptance of them, just as they are. What is most effective in making them more comfortable? That's a great question. So most stutterers overwhelmingly just want patience. It becomes very frustrating when people rush us and try and guess our words for us. So if you have the time, please just sit patiently with them, because it's not just you that has to wait in this interaction. We have to wait for our own stutter to come out too. And this is an all day thing for us every single day, versus maybe a 30-second interaction for you. So just being patient, don't rush us, don't guess our words. You can definitely maintain natural eye contact, but you can also say, hey, I notice that you stutter sometimes. Is there anything that you would like from me when that happens? Because most people just assume, and they assume wrong. So it's really beautiful when someone asks us. And because a lot of people assume, oh, well, don't look at them, that'll make them uncomfortable. Or, oh, man, they look like they're struggling, let me guess their word. No, we just want patience and to be treated like any other person. Great question. Where are you from? From just outside of Philadelphia in the United States, and I live near Boulder, Colorado now. Would things like Xanax help? I have never taken anything as strong as Xanax. I don't. So the results of anti-anxiety meds on stuttering is quite poor. So it's not reliably consistent. So it doesn't help. Xanax and stuttering, maybe a little bit, but you'll probably be in a much different mental state in the first place. So maybe how you would interact and react in a situation would be different regardless. So I'm not really sure about that one. I haven't read anything that it does help though, so that probably doesn't bode well for it. Hey man, I'm a kid with a stutter. What's something that you do to make it less preventable or make it less common? Well, so there are strategies that you can learn to better manage your stutter, so it's less likely to be as frequent or as hard. I have two long form videos where I teach strategies. One is with my friend that stutters. I walked him through a therapy session where I taught him strategies. He asked me questions and I answered them. And the other is me just going through sounds and words and sentences in a more follow a long type video where you can literally do it with me. So check those out on my page. They should be in a playlist for stuttering therapy. But I will also say that we can try to hide our stutter as much as we can, but we will still stutter sometimes. So working on confidence with our voice is important too, because how can we ever really accept ourselves if we're always afraid to share our insecurities? So if we're always afraid of stuttering, if we're always trying not to, then we'll have way more anxiety and stress and harder stuttering because it's such a big deal. Versus if we work on talking more, regardless of if we stutter, then usually that'll reduce our anxiety around it, and we won't stutter as much also. Do you like it if we keep looking at you, or should we look somewhere else? I love when people maintain eye contact with me. When you look away, I know the intent is to be helpful, since eye contact is tough for a lot of people, and you may think that you're putting more pressure on me, but when you look away, it feels really dismissive. It feels like you're not comfortable with me or my speech. It feels like you're not paying attention to what I'm saying. So if you're okay with eye contact, then I would love that, because I will be keeping it with you. So please try and keep it back if you can. Hi from a stutterer in Russia. Hello. I will say initially it was hard to try to listen, but now I've been here. It's totally cool, and it's manageable for sure. Thanks. Yeah, that is a big point. Of it feels different. It feels awkward at first because we're not used to it. But with more exposure, we get desensitized to it, and it becomes more normalized. So yeah, that's my goal here. So that's awesome. What strategies do you have? Because I also have a stutter similar to yours. Yeah. Well, so I've got two long form videos on my page where I teach different strategies. I've got other ones as well that I'll make different videos for, but that's a great place to start. It's a little bit tough to go into to them right now, though. So check out those long form videos on my page. Have you ever been bullied for your stutter? Yeah, yeah, lots as a kid, as a teenager, and surprisingly as an adult. People, I don't know why, but they will still do it. It's a little less common now, probably because I'm 6'1" and a taller guy, so they may not be as courageous as when I was just a kid. But yeah, that does happen. Hello. Does it help you to watch yourself while you speak? Well, so, oh, and then it says, like in a mirror. So this is one strategy that is helpful in speech therapy, is when you talk, you watch yourself. But it's different than just like seeing yourself. You kind of study what's going on with your mouth, your throat, with your whole body as you're talking, as you're stuttering. Are you noticing any extra tension, any extra pushing? Can you play around with it? Can you add some more or release some? That awareness is really great when we can play around with it. That improves how much we can control it and manage it. So yeah, there's a strategy for it, but it's much more conscious looking at yourself than just like talking in a mirror. I'm a stutterer. I've been to speech therapy for 3 years, and I got a lot better. Once I started reducing it, I got worse again. Do I have to always do it? It's expensive and time consuming. That's true. Speech therapy is expensive. It can be. Do you always have to do it? No. So part of this is how much you picked up from your sessions. Are you incorporating it in your own life? All those strategies. Are you actively working on it without the speech therapist? If that's a yes, then you can probably take a break from it. Not each situation is different, but if you're more reactive with your strategies, if you just use them when you get really stuck, versus a more proactive case of, hey, I've got strategies, let me just use them pretty frequently and kind of keep up my practice with it, rather than only using it when I need it and rely on it, because that'll probably have a challenging mindset with your work. So yeah, it'll all depend on where you're at, but stuttering is a lifelong journey. But you at some point can be your own speech therapist. You don't need 30 minutes or an hour a week of someone giving you exercises. You can challenge yourself and put yourself in those speaking situations too. I'm not kidding. Try to sing your next sentence, please. No. Uh, so it's true that most stutterers can sing without stuttering. Um, there is a difference between singing a song and talk singing. So when I'm stuttering, it's really hard to sing my way out of that block. But more than that, my life is not a musical. I don't want to sing all the time. It's not practical. I don't want to rely on singing to communicate with people. Think about going into a job interview. Is it more reasonable to talk and let them know, hey, I stutter sometimes, so my words may get stuck. That's it. Or is it more practical to just sing all of my answers in a job interview and all my phone calls? No. So it would feel very discouraging to allow stuttering to dictate how I could communicate with people. So I love singing. I will sing songs all the time, but I will not sing my way through a conversation. I can't maintain eye contact in the first place. Little demanding on the social aspect. Yeah, that's pretty fair. A lot of people struggle with that. That is something you can work on. We as humans can work on. But it does take time. If it's tough for you, I won't. I never really expect eye contact from people because I know that for some people it really is a big challenge. Now, I do appreciate the eye contact. So when it does happen, that's great. But I'm not thinking, oh man, just look at me. Do you smoke weed? No. Research on cannabis and stuttering is limited, so we can just go off of anecdotal evidence. In the past, it's made mine way worse. Now there are some stutterers who may find talking a little bit easier with it. It's not a guarantee. We're all different. You seem like such a cool guy. You got my sub. Thank you, and I appreciate the gifts you've been sending. By the way, you've got a really nice voice. Thank you. That's really kind. All right, you've responded to none of my messages or questions, and answered a few that just didn't exist in the chat. Good luck with your media career, bro. Try to interact with your audience more in lives. Well, I've been reading pretty much every comment as they come in, and and I know I've read a couple of yours. Um, Sorry that it took a while. I've gotten a number of comments, but hopefully you heard some of my answers to your questions. So. What can I do to my stutter? Uh, what can I do to my stutter? Finished. I'm from Turkey, and my English is bad. Sorry. Um, hmm, what can I do to my stutter? Finish. Uh, Boy, I wish that I understood what you meant. So there are strategies that we can learn for stuttering management. No strategy will always work. So sometimes we will still stutter. So getting more comfortable with stuttering openly has had a huge impact on my life. I'm a confident speaker, and I've got less anxiety around talking in general. My stutter has reduced in severity too, just from talking more openly and trying to accept that it's okay to stutter. That is a tough journey, though. So if you want, on my page, I have 2 long form videos where I teach strategies to help with your stutter. So check those out, please. My childhood crush had a really bad stutter. Later, my boyfriend. It must be exhausting. Yeah, it is, physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausting. It is so tiring. Yeah. All right. I'll start skipping a couple of the comments now, just because we're getting close to 1 hour. Hi, Travis from the UK. We have an amazing PSA here at the moment about stutters, and it made me think of you. That's cool. I'm glad that there's some awareness and education going on over there. I'm really happy to follow your journey. My ex struggled immensely, and people are tough to deal with. That unfortunately can be the case. Yeah, it can be tough. Your videos are very eye-opening. Thanks for putting yourself out there and educating us. Well, thanks for watching with an open mind. I'm really glad that these videos have been resonating with so many people. how do you overcome stuttering blocks? I try to just let myself repeat or prolong, but I can't utter even a sound most of the time. Yeah, that sometimes happens. No strategy is guaranteed to always work, so we will still stutter sometimes. Um, I think part of it is just stuttering a little more, where kind of like the only way to get over a thing is by going through it. So we stutter more, and that helps us realize, oh, most people don't really care about our stutter, so maybe I shouldn't care as much either. And it's okay to stutter. That is a tough realization that's taken me 3 decades. Um, and still, I struggle with it sometimes too. But since openly stuttering more, my stutter has reduced greatly. Um, but if you also want strategies, check out my playlist for stuttering therapy, where I teach a bunch of strategies. What's that book in the back, if you don't mind me talking about it. So this one here is Backgammon for Blood. I love backgammon. Um, that's a fascinating book about strategy. This one is Normism. Uh, I love Norm Macdonald. He was the funniest person ever, my favorite person ever, and that's a book for big fans, to read a bit about. People unfortunately make jokes about your stutter, but I'd love to know how you deal with it. This has changed over the years, where it used to really weigh heavy on me. Sometimes it still will, but I look at it more so as they definitely don't know much about stuttering, because if they did, they would know that it's no laughing matter. Um, this is a serious thing for many people. It dictates their entire life. So I come at it from a place of, okay, you just kind of need a little more awareness about stuttering. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so mean about it. So that kind of encourages me to keep making videos, to show people, oh, that's a real thing. That looks really tough. Maybe I should give them a little more patience. I love your videos, and how much we can see your confidence grow. Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fantastic, recognizing that my confidence is improving as well. Only recently found your channel. Thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for being here with me. E squared, thanks for joining and saying hi. Hey, I only stutter when I'm stressed. I have ADHD. Maybe that's why. Um, Likely not. That won't cause your stutter. Though when we have heightened emotions, if we're more stressed, more anxious, um, exhausted, if there's time pressure, change in routine, you, you should we will stutter more. But they're not causes of stuttering. And same with ADHD. That's not a cause of stuttering either. Um, so maybe you just have a minor stutter that really just comes out in these heightened states, and that can totally happen. Nice shirt. Are you a fisherman too? I have fished. Wouldn't call myself a fisherman, but I do enjoy fly fishing when when it's available. What causes it? So we don't truly know, but there are multiple factors at play. So the most common ones are genetic and neurological factors. Um, and it's kind of just that when humans talk, in order to talk, our brains have to send loads and loads of rapid signals to rapid messages to our speech muscles, like our lips, tongue, vocal cords, and those signals tell our muscles when to move, how fast to move, those precise movements of how far to move, things like that for coordination and timing. And for stutterers, those messages, those signals just don't quite land. And so we may repeat sounds or just get completely stuck. Versus most people, you don't stutter, and your messages get sent from your brain to your tongue to move at this certain rate at this certain time, um, to coordinate that movement, and it just does it. So that's a little background there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging is it for you to carry out tasks over the phone, like making an appointment, or during a pizza? Obviously, the listener is the barrier here. Yeah, that totally varies. The phone is kind of the hardest thing for me, because they can't see me trying to talk. They don't know that I am talking, or trying to. They just kind of hear these words and sounds that are broken up. So some people assume we have a bad connection, and they may hang up on me, which I kind of get. But yeah, so scale of 1 to 10, it always varies. It is a challenge. I'll say between a 6 and an 8, depending on the phone call and the person listening. All right. that's the bottom of the questions. Thank you to everyone who joined. Boy, I haven't done a live stream here in a few months, but I'll try to incorporate those more frequently on my page. So please stay tuned for more of those. But thank you to everyone who joined. Thanks to E squared for moderating, and I'll let you all know when the next one is. So thank you and take care.